police still looking for suspects in the Tekashi and Kanye West music video shooting that went down at a Beverly Hills mansion last week. But now we have some surveillance video that may be it is the first clue. It is
so chilling
as to who may be.
So they're at a house on Sunset Boulevard, Kanye and Tekashi doing this music video. That's the house. Nicki Minaj had not yet shown up. So here's what happened at night on a Friday, or Thursday night, Friday morning. So watch this. Two cars are going to pull up. You're going to see You're going to see headlights on the left, and you're going to see these headlights come in. Just bear with us for a second. The headlights are going to come up any second. Here they are. So that's the first car. Now take a look. You'll see behind him, you'll see headlights as well. So there is a wall in the perimeter of this property. Now watch this. Two guys are going to get out. One guy in a gray hoodie, another guy in a black hoodie. They're going to walk up to the gate. Now watch this. They walk up to the gate, and you're going to see them jimmy the gate. So they are trying to get inside. And now listen to this. They're talking. And you're going to hear one guy say, okay, and then all of a sudden the shots ring out. So you hear about 10 shots, and now they're going to scramble into their cars. Each one got in a car. This one goes straight. The other one, you can see, makes a U-turn, and they are gone. But they wanted in to get right to the window of that house to shoot inside.
And it sounded like you could hear one of the voices say, we got 30 seconds. Now, was that 30 seconds if they had gotten into the gate, or just 30 seconds from when they pulled up?
I forget that as far as the pull up.
Yeah, I mean, I think this had to be fast, but they were trying to get inside. That is what's so scary about this, that if they were trying to get inside, it's not just warning shots that they're doing saying, don't screw with us.
Right.
They were trying to get at these people, and they actually
we know that they actually
went through the window.
Yeah, it hit bullets hit the side of the house, went through a window.
And that, by the way, that was the window where Nicki Minaj's dressing room was going to be.
Right.
And she wasn't there yet again, but this is really frightening. And you know, Tekashi is at war with several people, and look at what's happening right now.
I mean, what's the result of what's happening is gunfires, and obviously someone can end up getting killed, because he clearly has a message here, okay? Because Tekashi, though, he thinks it's all fun and games, because even after the fact, he took a situation where all of his bodyguards prancing, dancing in the middle, like, ha-ha, you didn't get me, type of situation. So, I mean, obviously he thinks it's like not as serious as it should be, because he's going right here just circling around like, oh, well, haha. This is really after what happened with the gun violence, probably, what, a day after?
It was a day after the Thousand Oaks massacre that he's playing. This guy is a huge tragedy waiting to happen. I mean, he just is.
It just feels like he's just decided he's not going to live in fear of that, which is fine for him, but when you are working,
the people around,
the people who are around you, your bodyguards,
I mean, his bodyguards are trained. His bodyguards are trained bodyguards. They used to be Floyd Mayweather's bodyguards.
Raquel, he went to Louis Vuitton on Friday, shut down the store right in the middle of Beverly Hills, where there are all these people, tourists walking around and everything, and this guy is there, and he's clearly a target. And it's like wherever he goes,
knows he's a target.
Well, yeah, but what about the people in Beverly Hills who are around him? That's the problem.
But of course, because the bully doesn't have anybody's name on it, they can go for anybody.
I got to tell you.
Therefore, it's obviously not safe to be around him. But he's making it not safe, though, because he keeps on doing things to provoke people.
Raquel, if I were the police chief of Beverly Hills, I would keep him out of that city. I'm serious. I would keep him out of the city.
He's not allowed a lot of places in New York, so.
I would keep him away. It's like, this guy is too dangerous.
Do we know, is he still in L.A. at this point, or has he left?
Raquel, the last I heard...
He's back in New York.
Oh, he's back in New York?
Yeah, he's left.
I was just about to breathe a sigh of relief. How about that?
Well, yeah, I think so.
But
because
I feel bad for people in New York.
It seems like most of his enemies are on the West Coast.
No, they're not.
No, that's not true.
They're not.
That's
They're
not true.
everywhere.
They're shooting at the restaurant right after the court hearing.
Right.
The whole city of Chicago's on his head because he did some weird stuff in the projects of Chicago. Then on top of that, he has a lot of people in Chicago, a lot of people on the West Coast, because he trend like a whole bunch of things about checking in situation. And then New York, he has people on his head because he says he's the king.
And real quick, we want to get to Joe Perry, because this was another big story that we broke on the website. But before, the judge in the Tekashi case, the judge who sentenced him in the probation violation sex case, gave him probation. The judge is saying, it's not my fault they gave him probation because she could have sent him to prison. She said, I just did what the prosecutor of the probation department said.
Right.
So the judge is backing off this, saying, it's not me, it's them, which is kind of amazing.
Hey, what's going on? It's Jahi from Los Angeles. I think this guy's a joke, 100%. You know, Raquel's right. You know, he does take this as a game, but, you know, he's going to get caught up definitely. You know, I mean, everybody he's over there taunting, you know, he does think it's a game. They're going to get at him. Obviously, you know, they know where he's at. They'll find where he's at, you know, and I'm just waiting on the story from you guys to say, hey, you know, Tekashi69 got shot this many times.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately,
it feels
it's
inevitable, but I hope,
we're moving in that
hope it's not.
I know, but geez.
Yeah.